How's it going, guys? Back again. Bit of an unorthodox game here. I do try to find the most I play a few games every day and I try to get the ones that I deem the most entertaining to watch. I'm yet to try ladder as I want to get a little bit more, knowledge in game on different units, different races, what's popular at the minute. So as you can see, this is a 3v3. It's Dark Elves, High Elves and Tzeentch versus Khalida Tomb Kings, Ungrim Iron Fist on the Dwarfs and Azazel Slaanesh. I went for quite a typical build of 3 Bleak Swords, 4 Bleak Swords, 2 Dark Shards with shields, 2 Dark Shards without. I've got a Supreme Sorceress Dark just on a Pegasus. I then took 2 Reaper Bolt Throwers, 2 squads of Blackguard of Nagaron to defend them, the Hellbrunei Dread Spears, and the Bloodwrack Medusa because I'm just really enjoying the unit. Really enjoying it. As for the High Elf player, he went for quite heavy on the White Lions of Chase. We've got 1, 2, 3 sat in there. We've got a squad of Phoenix Guard. We've got 4 squads of White Lions. Squad of Lothran Sea Guard, and then hiding in here was 3 squads of Dragon Princes. And then we've got his Lord there, Teclis. The Magic Caster himself, but just chilling on a horse. I imagine that horse has probably got a name, but I'm not too sure. As for my Tzeentchian ally, he went Chaos Warriors, Halberds, 3 squads. And then we've got 4 squads of Pink Horrors and 1 Exalted, I think. No, they're all just normal pinks. And then we've got the Knights of Immolation, which obviously the Regents are renowned Doom Knights. And then we've got some Screamers of Tzeentch as well. I'm guessing he just wanted a bit of anti-large in there to back up Kairos. So in all fairness, it's quite a magic heavy team. As you can see, obviously you don't know this when you're setting up, but they hid the majority of the Dwarfs and Slaanesh inside the forest to fight the Tzeentch units. And he got flanked by some Seekers quite early. So straight away, only my Bleak Swords are going to take a hit from the Screaming Skull Catapults, but I was hoping to pull my Reaper Bolt Throwers up to be able to start shooting back. The first thing I did was send the Supreme Sorceress over. Now, a bit of a misplay on my behalf, because there was so much going on, I was constantly trying to watch both fronts. So you see a Soul Stealer here in a second, which is not best placed. We cast it on the Allurus. Is it this one that hits all? Oh no, that one isn't bad to be fair. We do hit quite a majority of the big blob. Straight away. We're ticking down. Only 622 damage already. That one's going to tickle. And then I realise I need to get out of here because I'm taking a few shots from the Skyhammer. And there's a few of that ranged aspects around Pop Power of Darkness. Now I want to keep weaving in between there because this side should easily be absolute destruction. We're moving the Blackguard up and the Spears just to hopefully cover the Reaper Bolt Throwers a little bit, but we should be absolutely destroying this side, CV1. And I decided I need to push it as hard as possible so then I can go help my Tzeentch ally who's being pushed really hard. But as expected, it's fighting 2 armies against 1. The Medusa is at the moment just relaxing. I wanted to save the majority of her ammunition for nearer the end against the Dwarfs. So we're just peppering them in, peppering some shots, shutting down the Screaming Skulls, getting the Bleak Swords in. The Bleak Swords are not fantastic fighters, but I was just hoping to use them to just hold infantry while the Dragon Princes fly around doing their bit. The Kemrian War Sphinx, I should have pulled my Blackguard up earlier. So I now know I'm going to get flanked. The Dwarfs and the Slaanesh are going to come over to get rid of my artillery as soon as possible. And this right here is absolute awful placement of an artillery. I like putting these things in recordings for you guys to see, so just to show that I'm actually not a very good player, but I am trying to learn. I'm using the Supreme Sorceress just to run up. She's only got 3 kills, but she's only got 1,310 in gold value. I'm just casting magic where I can, getting the worthwhile, hitting the Ishtabi, both squads, hitting Khalida, You know, we're already now pushing up 1700, 1800. That's 50 gold a tick from Soul Stealer. And now I realise I need to deal with this Khemrian War Sphinx. The only issue of bringing a Supreme Sorceress of Dark is, yes, she is good at casting magic and, you know, causing a few issues, but she is not great in combat. So I try my hardest to keep her out of it. So, you know, we're stomping over here, getting rid of the Ishtarbi, pushing the Lich Priest of Death off. Another mistake on my behalf that I see now, this is the best thing about watching these replays, I can really highlight the mistakes that I've made, so in future I know not to mistake them. I've sent 3 squads of Bleak Swords to surround this Tomb Guard with halberds. Ideally I should start coming back and sort of regrouping and creating a front so I can move my Dark Shards back, get them firing again. Because at the moment I'm a bit everywhere. You know, the Reaper Bolt throws have been shut down. That was going to happen. I'm still flying around just trying to get a bit more value casting magic. You know, 1885 at the moment. Still pretty good. I cast a Blade Storm down there and it does do quite a bit of damage to the exalted sort of Demonettes of Slaanesh running around in there. You know, I'm now up to, you know, I gained about 1,100 gold value off that one cast. I go back here just to sort of benefit. Hope I can deal with some units. Blackguard of Naggarond, they're not going to do great in Hammerers because obviously Hammerers aren't large. But the Blackguard of Naggarond are armour piercing, so they should do quite a high amount of damage to them. You know, they are taking a fair amount of damage from the Blackguard. And we've got the White Lions at Trace chopping into the Longbeards. This has got to have made some money. I've seen it everywhere. 1,300, not great, but you know, the Bleak Swords here have been broken. High Queen Khalida is just refusing to die, and the War Sphinx is also causing issues. Now I've got to deal with this bundle of Slaanesh. The Medusa is just popping a few shots off, missing a lot of them, as everything in my army seems to be doing this time. I decided to try and get a little bit of damage onto this Skyhammer. I popped the Opal Amulet a bit early, if I'm honest. Could have done with popping it a hell of a lot later. You know, we're just trying to annoy this Gyro Bomber. We're doing a slight bit of damage to it, taking a little bit back, but I imagine I was going to get another Soul Stealer soon. I'm about to top my HP off that anyway. It's a huge bonus to Soul Stealer. Techless dropping and absolutely, Jesus, that goes on for a while. Roasting those exalted demonettes. You know, 1100. I do feel like my Supreme Sorceress was really putting in the work with magic. You know, we're getting another Soul Stealer down here, hitting all of these units, ticking 100 gold a second. You know, we're nearly at double what it costs to field her. She's really good value. Now, we've done well to push Slaanesh back, but at this point I'm getting a bit worried because they still have a lot of dwarfs to deal with. You know, Bugman's Rangers, Ulfar's Raiders. There's a lot of ranged fire still there. So I decided to regroup everything, bring my Dark Shards back in. My Medusa is just happily popping shots in over there. Now, I make a huge mistake over here, and I want to highlight this. I send it to attack the Skyhammer. The Skyhammer dies, and for some reason she lands. I hadn't seen that she'd landed at this point, and then she gets surrounded by Giant Slayers and Ungrim, and he pops his abilities, and she's going to be in a world full of hurt. This is where I start to notice that she's taking damage. And then you can see me trying to path her out and pop these sort of amulet, but it's really not going to help, and she dies in this blob. Now I think I still had about 30 wins in reserve, which, you know, is another Soul Stealer and a Doom Bolt. So that right there was a huge misplay on my behalf, but, you know, a real good play for the dwarf. You know, he caught that quick, sent Ungrim with some Giant Slayers, absolutely chopped them to pieces. She's really overshot in that, isn't she? You know, she's enjoying herself. the old Medusa unit. So we get broken back here by the Carrion War Sphinx, but by the looks of it, we are actually going to be able to drag it down. So with the Bloodrat Medusa, I know she's an okay fighter. You know, still 390 weapon strength, 41 melee attack, 41 melee defense. You know, that's nothing laughable. The only thing I'm worried about is I can't allow her to get caught by the Giant Slayers or Ungrim. Everything else, you know, she could go fight the Rangers, go fight the Raiders, and I think she'd do okay. But at this point, she is not too great. Now this, again, is something I should have done earlier. She right there just flat out murdered those Rangers. You know, they're losing 5 units out of that squad, if not more, every time she shoots. So from the get-go, I should have been using her to target ranged units. I know it seems like I'm explaining to you a lot of mistakes, but I'm trying to sort of come across and show you guys that I am learning, and I'm also hoping that maybe you guys have the chance to learn something as well. There's going to be a lot of you out there that are going to have been playing a lot more multiplayer games than I have. But I'm hoping that if I look back at the videos now, in a year's time, I'm about to see quite a big improvement. Hopefully I'm about to have entered some tournaments by then and got some real experience. In the next coming days, I am going to start playing on the ladder. Just going to friendly fire those Dragon Princes. As you do. You know, Dark Elves, not a massive fan of High Elves, so it wouldn't be the same without a bit of friendly fire. And I've got to give it to this guy's Kairos Fate Weaver. He got absolutely bullied at the start, but he's come back just to constantly be doing work. I'll stand by it that, is it Blue Flame? Blue Flyer of Zinch is so strong. You know, it costs nearly nothing, and he is just hitting them with it constantly. So you can see he did try to bring his Giant Slayers and Ungrim over to get my Bloodrat Medusa, and we do a little bit of chasing. He now sees that he doesn't really want this fight because the amount of range that's here, I'm just peppering his Giant Slayers. I used my second squad of Blackguard and Nagaron to push off the Peak Guard gates finally, and another shot from downtown and Medusa, the last shot. You know, she's got some kills, and I think she could have performed a hell of a lot better had I used her properly. We're now being chased by Ungrim, who has a vengeance for Medusa. Not sure why, but dwarves say they love a good grudge. We're just trying to chop through the Giant Slayers now. You know, there's 7 left there. There's some Raiders there. I'm just going to try and get a cheeky hit in on this Thane. Do a little bit of damage and then roll away. Roll away? Coil away? Not sure what you'd describe this as. Sway away? The magic just continues to wreak havoc. Not even just on the enemy team. But, you know, the fun of Zinch. Trickster in his own ways. Ungrim then decides that he is not catching me. At a speed of 32 compared to 58, I'm going to run circles around him. Now, I know at this point the game is pretty much won. We've got to break Ungrim and we've got to break the Thane. As soon as we break, obviously you can't break Ungrim, so we've got to kill him. But as soon as you break the Thane, we've literally just got to kill Ungrim and it should be GG. So this is just a little bit of chasing here, as you can see. I don't want to keep you guys here for 30 minutes, so I'll do speed it up a little bit just to save yourselves a bit of time. Ungrim runs in, I run back. Ungrim gets caught by Dragon Princes, and then, you know, we just continuously hit him in a circle until he dies, basically, is the best way of putting that. And there it is. The one thing I would like to show is there is definitely improvements in this army I could have made. The Dark Shards were okay, but I feel like that was a mismanagement of my own. The Medusa did really well. Dark Sorceress again, you know, she even died really early but still managed to put out 4,700 worth of gold damage and 20,500 damage dealt. Blackguard of Nagarond, I think I could have changed for Hageneth Executioners or Sisters of Slaughter and they would have probably worked better. And I definitely didn't need a third squad of anti-large. I definitely could have done with Summit to chop through the dwarfs. I think I need to get even sort of maybe the Blackheart Corsairs or something like that would have just added a bit more hitting and melee. I took way too long to kill a lot of the units, you know. Tzeentch didn't have the best game. His Pink Horrors got ran down. Everything got pretty much ran down. His Doom Knights did good and Kairos managed to hit in. And then you look at the guy who did the primarily of the lifting, you know. The Dragon Princes did loads of work. The White Trace, not so much, but they held a good line. And, you know, thank you for watching, guys. I'll upload another video tomorrow. I'll catch you then.